Taylor Alison Swift, born December 13, 1989, is an American singer-songwriter. Known for her biographical songwriting, artistic reinventions, and cultural impact, Swift is a leading figure in popular music and the subject of widespread public interest. Life and career. Early life. Taylor Alison Swift was born on December 13, 1989, in West Reading, Pennsylvania. She is named after the singer-songwriter James Taylor. Her father, Scott Kingsley Swift, was a stockbroker for Merrill Lynch, and her mother, Andrea Gardner Swift, née Finley, worked as a mutual fund marketing executive. Swift's younger brother, Austin, is an actor. Their maternal grandmother, Marjorie Finley, née Molenkamp, was an opera singer, whose singing in church became one of Swift's earliest memories of music that shaped her career. Swift is of Scottish, English, and German descent, with distant Italian and Irish ancestry. Swift spent her early years on a Christmas tree farm in Pennsylvania that her father had purchased from one of his clients, and she spent her summers at her family's vacation home in Stone Harbor, New Jersey, where she occasionally performed acoustic songs at a local coffee shop. She is a Christian and attended preschool and kindergarten at a Montessori school run by the Bernardine Sisters of St. Francis before transferring to the Windcroft School. When her family moved to Wyomissing, she attended Wyomissing Area Junior/Senior High School. As a child, she performed in Berks Youth Theater Academy productions and traveled regularly to New York City for vocal and acting lessons. Her early love for country music was influenced by Shania Twain, Patsy Cline, LeAnn Rimes, and the Dixie Chicks, and she spent weekends performing at local festivals and events. After watching a documentary about Faith Hill, she became determined to pursue a country music career in Nashville, Tennessee. At 11, Swift traveled to Nashville with her mother to visit record labels and submit demo tapes of Dolly Parton and Dixie Chicks karaoke covers. She was rejected by all the labels, which led her to focus on songwriting. She started learning the guitar at 12 with the help of Ronnie Kramer, a computer repairman and local musician who also assisted Swift with writing an original song. In 2003, Swift and her parents started working with the talent manager Dan Dimtro. With his help, Swift modeled for Abercrombie & Fitch and had an original song included on a Maybelline compilation CD. After performing original songs at an RCA Records showcase, 13-year-old Swift was given an artist development deal and began to travel regularly to Nashville with her mother. To help Swift break into the country music scene, her father transferred to Merrill Lynch's Nashville office when she was 14 years old, and the family relocated to Hendersonville, Tennessee. Swift attended Hendersonville High School before transferring to Aaron Academy after 2 years, which better accommodated her touring schedule through homeschooling. She graduated 1 year early. 2004 to 2008, career beginnings and first album. In Nashville, Swift worked with experienced music row songwriters such as Troy Verges, Brett Beavers, Brett James, Mac McAnally, and the Warren brothers, and formed a lasting working relationship with Liz Rose. They began meeting for 2-hour writing sessions every Tuesday afternoon after school. Rose called the sessions some of the easiest I've ever done. Basically, I was just her editor. She'd write about what happened in school that day. She had such a clear vision of what she was trying to say. And she'd come in with the most incredible hooks. Swift became the youngest artist signed by Sony/ATV Tree Music Publishing, but left then BMG-owned RCA Records, later bought by Sony Music, at the age of 14 due to the label's lack of care and them cutting other people's stuff. She was also concerned that development deals can shelve artists and recalled, "I genuinely felt that I was running out of time. I wanted to capture these years of my life on an album while they still represented what I was going through." Taylor Swift singing on a microphone and playing a guitar. Swift opening for Brad Paisley in 2007. To promote her first album, she opened tours for other country musicians in 2007 and 2008. At an industry showcase at Nashville's Bluebird Cafe in 2005, Swift caught the attention of Scott Borchetta, a DreamWorks Records executive who was preparing to form an independent record label, Big Machine Records. She had first met Borchetta in 2004. She was one of Big Machine's first signings, and her father purchased a 3% stake in the company for an estimated $120,000. She began working on her eponymous debut album with Nathan Chapman. Swift wrote or co-wrote all album tracks, and co-writers included Rose, Robert Ellis Orrall, Brian Marr, and Angelo Petraglia. Released in October 2006, Taylor Swift peaked at number 5 on the U.S. Billboard 200, on which it spent 157 weeks, the longest stay on the chart by any release in the U.S. in the 2000s decade. Swift became the first female country music artist to write or co-write every track on a platinum-certified debut album. Big Machine Records was still in its infancy during the June 2006 release of the lead single, Tim McGraw, which Swift and her mother helped promote by packaging and sending copies of the CD single to country radio stations. She spent much of 2006 promoting Taylor Swift with a radio tour and television appearances. She opened for Rascal Flatts on select dates during their 2006 tour. As a replacement for Eric Church, Borchetta said that although record industry peers initially disapproved of his signing a 15-year-old singer-songwriter, Swift tapped into a previously unknown market: teenage girls who listened to country music. Following Tim McGraw, four more singles were released throughout 2007 and 2008, Teardrops on My Guitar, Our Song, Picture to Burn, and Should Have Said No. All appeared on Billboard's Hot Country Songs, with Our Song and Should Have Said No reaching number 1. Our Song made Swift the youngest person to single-handedly write and sing a Hot Country Songs #1 single, and Teardrops on My Guitar was Swift's breakthrough single on mainstream radio and charts. Swift released 2 EPs, the Taylor Swift Holiday Collection in October 2007 and Beautiful Eyes in July 2008. That she promoted her debut album extensively as the opening act for other country musicians' tours in 2006 and 2007, including those by George Strait, Brad Paisley, and Tim McGraw and Faith Hill. Swift won multiple accolades for Taylor Swift. She was one of the recipients of the Nashville Songwriters Association's Songwriter/Artist of the Year in 2007, becoming the youngest person given the title. She also won the Country Music Association's Horizon Award for Best New Artist, the Academy of Country Music Awards Top New Female Vocalist, and the American Music Awards Favorite Country Female Artist honor. She was also nominated for Best New Artist at the 50th Annual Grammy Awards in 2008. She opened for Rascal Flatts again and briefly dated the singer Joe Jonas. 2008 to 2010, Fearless. Taylor Swift in 2009. Swift at the 2009 premiere of Hannah Montana, the movie. She had a cameo appearance in the film and wrote 2 songs for its soundtrack. Swift's second studio album, Fearless, was released in November 2008 in North America and in March 2009 in other markets. On the Billboard 200, Fearless spent 11 weeks at number 1, becoming Swift's first chart topper and the longest-running number 1 female country album. It was the best-selling album of 2009 in the U.S. Its lead single, Love Story, was her first number 1 in Australia and the first country song to top Billboard's Pop Songs chart, and its third single, You Belong With Me, was the first country song to top Billboard's all-genre radio songs chart. 3 other singles were released in 2008 to 2010, White Horse, 15, and Fearless. All 5 singles were Hot Country Songs top 10 entries, with Love Story and You Belong With Me topping the chart. In 2009, Swift toured as an opening act for Keith Urban and embarked on her first headlining tour, the Fearless Tour. You Belong With Me won Best Female Video at the 2009 MTV Video Music Awards. Her acceptance speech was interrupted by the rapper Kanye West, an incident that became the subject of controversy and widespread media coverage. That year, Swift won 5 American Music Awards, including Artist of the Year and Favorite Country Album. Billboard named her the 2009 Artist of the Year. She won Video of the Year and Female Video of the Year for Love Story at the 2009 CMT Music Awards, where she made a parody video of the song with rapper T-Pain called Thug Story. At the 52nd Annual Grammy Awards, Fearless was named Album of the Year and Best Country Album, and White Horse won Best Country Song and Best Female Country Vocal Performance. At the 2009 Country Music Association Awards, Swift won Album of the Year for Fearless and was named Entertainer of the Year, the youngest person to win the honor. Throughout 2009, Swift featured on and wrote other musicians' releases. She featured on Half of My Heart by John Mayer, whom she was romantically linked with in late 2009. She wrote Best Days of Your Life for Kelly Pickler, co-wrote and featured on Boys Like Girls 2 Is Better Than 1, 85, and wrote 2 songs, You'll Always Find Your Way Back Home and Crazier for the soundtrack of Hannah Montana, the movie, in which she had a cameo appearance. She wrote and recorded Today Was a Fairy Tale for the soundtrack of Valentine's Day, 2010, in which she had her acting debut. Today Was a Fairy Tale was her first #1 single on the Canadian Hot 100. While shooting Valentine's Day in October 2009, Swift dated co-star Taylor Lautner. On television, she made her debut as a rebellious teenager in an CSI crime scene investigation episode and hosted and performed as the musical guest on Saturday Night Live. She was the first host ever to write their own opening monologue. 2010 to 2014, Speak Now Unread. Swift singing into a mic while playing a guitar, dressed in a purple dress. Swift on the Speak Now World Tour in 2011. Swift's third studio album, Speak Now, was released in October 2010. Written solely by Swift, the album debuted the Billboard 200 with over 1 million U.S. copies sold first week and became the fastest-selling digital album by a female artist. Speak Now was supported by 6 singles: Mine, Back to December, Mean, The Story of U.S., Sparks Fly, and Ours. Mine peaked at number 3 and was the highest charting single on the Billboard Hot 100. The first 3 singles reached the top 10 in Canada, and the last 2 reached number 1 on Hot Country Songs. Swift promoted Speak Now with the Speak Now World Tour from February 2011 to March 2012 and the live album Speak Now World Tour, Live. At the 54th Annual Grammy Awards in 2012, Swift performed Mean, which won Best Country Song and Best Country Solo Performance. She was named Songwriter/Artist of the Year by the Nashville Songwriters Association, 2010 and 2011, Woman of the Year by Billboard, 2011, and Entertainer of the Year by the Academy of Country Music, 2011 and 2012, and the Country Music Association in 2011. At the American Music Awards of 2011, Swift won Artist of the Year and Favorite Country Album. Rolling Stone named Speak Now on its list of 50 Best Female Albums of All Time, 2012. Swift in a red marching band outfit holding a mic. Swift on the Red Tour in 2013. Red, Swift's 4th studio album, was released in October 2012. On Red, Swift worked with Chapman and new producers including Max Martin, Shellback, Dan Wilson, Jeff Busker, Dan Huff, and Butch Walker, resulting in a genre-spanning record that incorporated eclectic styles of pop and rock such as Brit rock, dubstep, and dance pop. The album opened at number 1 on the Billboard 200 with 1.21 million sales and was Swift's first number 1 album in the UK. Its lead single, We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together, was her first number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, and its third single, I Knew You Were Trouble, reached the top 5 on charts worldwide. Other singles from Red were Begin Again, 22, Everything Has Changed, The Last Time, and Red. Red and its single Begin Again received 3 nominations at the 56th Annual Grammy Awards, 2014. Swift received American Music Awards for Best Female Country Artist in 2012, Artist of the Year in 2013, and the Nashville Songwriters Association Songwriter/Artist Award for the 5th and 6th consecutive years. At the 2014 Country Music Association Awards, Swift was honored with the Pinnacle Award, making her the second recipient in history after Garth Brooks. 121. The Red Tour ran from March 2013 to June 2014 and became the highest-grossing country tour upon completion. Swift continued writing songs for films and featuring on other artists' releases. On the soundtrack album to The Hunger Games, 2012, Swift wrote and recorded Eyes Open and Safe and Sound, the latter of which was co-written with the Civil Wars and T-Bone Burnett. Safe and Sound won the Grammy Award for Best Song Written for Visual Media. She wrote and produced Sweeter Than Fiction with Jack Antonoff for the soundtrack to One Chance, 2013. Swift featured on B.O.B's Both of Us, 2012, and provided vocals for Tim McGraw's Highway Don't Care, 2013, also featuring Keith Urban. She was a voice actress in The Lorax, 2012. Made a cameo in the sitcom New Girl, 2013, and had a supporting role in the dystopian film The Giver, 2014. From 2010 to 2013, Swift was romantically involved with the actor Jake Gyllenhaal, the political heir Connor Kennedy, and the singer Harry Styles. 2014 to 2018, 1989, and Reputation. Swift performing on a mic, dressed in a blue skirt. Swift at the 1989 World Tour, the highest-grossing tour of 2015. In March 2014, Swift began living in New York City, which she credited as a creative influence on her 5th studio album, 1989. Note 1, she described 1989 as her first official pop album and produced it with Jack Antonoff, Max Martin, Shellback, Imogen Heap, Ryan Tedder, and Ali Payami. Released in October 2014. The album opened atop the Billboard 200 with 1.28 million copies sold. Its singles Shake It Off, Blank Space, and Bad Blood reached #1 in Australia, Canada, and the US. With the first two making Swift the first woman to replace herself at the Hot 100 top spot. Other singles include Style, Wildest Dreams, Out of the Woods, and New Romantics. The 1989 World Tour, 2015, was the highest-grossing tour of the year with $250 million in total revenue. After publishing an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal stressing the importance of albums as a creative medium for artists, in November 2014, Swift removed her catalog from ad-supported, free music streaming platforms such as Spotify. In a June 2015 open letter, Swift criticized Apple Music for not offering royalties to artists during its free 3-month trial period and threatened to withdraw her music from the platform, which prompted Apple Incorporated to announce that it would pay artists during the free trial period. Swift then agreed to keep 1989 and her catalog on Apple Music. Big Machine Records returned Swift's catalog to Spotify among other free streaming platforms in June 2017. Swift was named Billboard's Woman of the Year in 2014, becoming the first artist to win the award twice. At the 2014 American Music Awards, Swift received the inaugural Dick Clark Award for Excellence. On her 25th birthday in 2014, the Grammy Museum at LA Live opened an exhibit in her honor in Los Angeles that ran until October 4, 2015. In 2015, Swift won the Brit Award for International Female Solo Artist. Bad Blood won Video of the Year and Best Collaboration at the 2015 MTV Video Music Awards. At the 58th Grammy Awards, 2016, 1989 won Album of the Year and Best Pop Vocal Album, making Swift the first woman to win Album of the Year twice. Swift in a snake-embroiled bodysuit. Swift on her Reputation Stadium Tour, 2018, the highest-grossing North American tour at the time. Swift dated the DJ Calvin Harris from March 2015 to June 2016. They co-wrote the song This Is What You Came For, featuring vocals from Rihanna. Swift was initially credited under the pseudonym Nils Sjoberg. She recorded I Don't Wanna Live Forever with Zayn Malik for the soundtrack to 50 Shades Darker, 2017, and won a Country Music Association Award for Song of the Year with Better Man, which she wrote for the band Little Big Town. In April 2016, Kanye West released the single Famous, in which he references Swift in the line, I made that bitch famous. Swift criticized West and said she never consented to the lyric, but West claimed that he had received her approval, and his then-wife Kim Kardashian released video clips of Swift and West discussing the song amicably over the phone. The controversy made Swift a subject of an online cancel movement. In late 2016, after briefly dating Tom Hiddleston, Swift began a 6-year relationship with Joe Alwyn and retreated herself from the public spotlight. In August 2017, Swift successfully countersued David Mueller, a former radio jockey for KYGO-FM, who sued her for damages from loss of employment. For years earlier, she informed Mueller's bosses that he had sexually assaulted her by groping her at an event. The public controversies influenced Swift's 6th studio album, Reputation, which explored the impact of her fame and musically incorporated electropop with urban styles of hip-hop and R&B. Released in November 2017, Reputation opened atop the Billboard 200 with 1.21 million U.S. sales and topped the charts in the UK, Australia, and Canada. The album's lead single, Look What You Made Me Do, was Swift's first UK #1 single and topped charts in Australia, Ireland, New Zealand, and the US. Its singles, Ready for It, Endgame, and Delicate, were released to pop radio. Reputation was nominated for a Grammy Award for Best Pop Vocal Album. Swift featured on the country duo Sugarland's Babe, 2018. At the 2018 American Music Awards, Swift won 4 awards, which made her accumulate 23 trophies in total and become the AMA's most awarded female musician, surpassing Whitney Houston. The same year, she embarked on her Reputation Stadium Tour, which became the highest-grossing North American concert tour in history and grossed $345.7 million worldwide. 2018 to 2021, Lover, Folklore, and Evermore. In November 2018, Swift signed a new deal with Universal Music Group, which promoted her subsequent albums under Republic Records imprint. The contract included a provision for Swift to maintain ownership of her masters. In addition, in the event that Universal sold any part of its stake in Spotify, it agreed to distribute a non-recoupable portion of the proceeds among its artists. A portrait of Swift. Swift at the American Music Awards of 2019, where she was named Artist of the Decade. Swift's first album with Republic Records, Lover, was released in August 2019. She produced the album with Antonoff, Louis Bell, Frank Dukes, and Joel Little. Lover peaked atop the charts of such territories as Australia, Canada, Ireland, Mexico, Norway, Sweden, the UK, and the US. The album spawned 5 singles: Me, You Need to Calm Down, Lover, The Man, and Cruel Summer. The first 2 singles peaked at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100, and the lattermost single became a resurgent success in 2023, reaching number 1. Lover was 2019's best-selling album in the US and best-selling album by a solo artist worldwide. The album and its singles earned 3 nominations at the 62nd Annual Grammy Awards in 2020. The 2019 MTV Video Music Awards, Swift won 3 awards, including Video of the Year for You Need to Calm Down, becoming the first female and second artist overall to win the category for a self-directed video. While promoting Lover in 2019, Swift became embroiled in a public dispute with the talent manager Scooter Braun after he purchased Big Machine Records, including the masters of her albums that the label had released. Swift said she had been trying to buy the masters, but Big Machine would only allow her to do so if she exchanged one new album for each older one under a new contract, which she refused to sign. In November 2020, Swift began re-recording her back catalog, which enabled her to own the new masters and the licensing of her songs for commercial use, substituting for the Big Machine-owned masters. In February 2020, Swift signed a global publishing deal with Universal Music Publishing Group after her 16-year contract with Sony/ATV expired. Amidst the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, Swift surprise released 2 sister albums that she recorded and produced with Antonoff and Aaron Dessner, Folklore in July and Evermore in December. Joe Alwyn co-wrote and co-produced a few songs under the pseudonym William Bowery. Both albums incorporated a muted indie folk and alternative rock production. Each was supported by 3 singles, catering to U.S. pop, country, and AAA radio formats. The singles were Cardigan, Betty, and Exile from Folklore, and Willow, No Body, No Crime, and Coney Island from Evermore. Folklore was the best-selling album of 2020 in the US and, together with Cardigan, made Swift the first artist to debut a US #1 album and a #1 song in the same week. She achieved the feat again with Evermore and Willow. According to Billboard, Swift was the highest-paid musician in the U.S. and highest-paid solo musician worldwide of 2020. Folklore made Swift the first woman to win the Grammy Award for Album of the Year 3 times, winning the category at the 63rd Annual Grammy Awards, 2021. At the American Music Awards, Swift won 3 awards, including Artist of the Year for a 3rd record time, 2020, and Favorite Pop/Rock Female Artist and Favorite Pop/Rock Album, 2021. 192, Swift played Bombalurina in the film adaptation of Andrew Lloyd Webber's musical Cats, 2019, for which she co-wrote and recorded the Golden Globe-nominated original song Beautiful Ghosts. The documentary Miss Americana, which chronicled parts of Swift's life and career, premiered at the 2020 Sundance Film Festival. 2021 to 2023, re-recordings and midnights. Swift's re-recordings of her first 6 studio albums began with Fearless, Taylor's Version, and Red, Taylor's Version, which were released in April and November 2021. Both peaked atop the Billboard 200, and the former was the first re-recorded album to do so. Fearless, Taylor's Version, was preceded by Love Story, Taylor's Version, which made Swift the second artist after Dolly Parton to have both the original and re-recorded versions of a song reach #1 on Hot Country Songs. Red, Taylor's Version, was supported by All Too Well, 10-minute version, which became the longest song in history to top the Hot 100. Swift performing in 2022. Swift's 10th studio album, Midnights, was released in October 2022. The album incorporates a restrained electropop and synthpop sound with elements of hip-hop, R&B, and electronica. In the US, Midnights was her 5th to open atop the Billboard 200 with first-week sales of over 1 million copies, and its tracks, led by the single Anti-Hero, made Swift the first artist to monopolize the top 10 of the Hot 100. Globally, the album broke the record for the most single-day streams and most single-week streams on Spotify and peaked atop the charts of at least 14 countries. The album's 2 further singles, Lavender Haze and Karma, both peaked at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. According to Billboard, Swift was the top-earning solo artist in the U.S. and the top-earning musician worldwide of 2021. She won 6 American Music Awards, including Artist of the Year in 2022. The MTV Video Music Awards. Swift won her 3rd and 4th trophies for Video of the Year with All Too Well, the short film, her self-directed short film that accompanies All Too Well, 10-minute version, in 2022 and Anti-Hero in 2023. During this period, Swift won 3 Grammy Awards, Best Music Video for All Too Well, the short film, and Best Pop Vocal Album and Album of the Year for Midnights. Swift became the first artist to win Album of the Year 4 times in Grammy history. Swift's next 2 re-recorded albums, Speak Now, Taylor's Version, and 1989, Taylor's Version, were released in July and October 2023. The former made Swift the woman with the most #1 albums, 12, in Billboard 200 history, surpassing Barbra Streisand, and the latter was her 6th album to sell 1 million copies in a single week in the U.S., claiming her career's largest album sales week. 1989, Taylor's Version, as single Is It Over Now? Peaked at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Swift featured on Big Red Machine's Renegade and Birch, 2021, Haim's Gasoline, 2021, Ed Sheeran's The Joker and the Queen, 2022, and The Nationals' The Alcott, 2023, for the soundtrack of Where the Crawdads Sing, 2022. She wrote and recorded Carolina, which received nominations for Best Original Song at the Golden Globes and Best Song Written for Visual Media at the Grammy Awards. In 2023, Swift was the most streamed artist on Spotify, Apple Music, and Amazon Music, and the first act to place #1 on the year-end Billboard Top Artists list in 3 different decades, 2009, 2015, and 2023. She had 5 out of the 10 best-selling albums of 2023 in the U.S., a record since Luminate began tracking U.S. music sales in 1991. Besides music, Swift had a supporting role in the period comedy film Amsterdam, 2022, and began writing an original script for her directorial feature film debut with Searchlight Pictures. 2023, present, the Eras Tour and the Tortured Poets Department. Swift singing into a mic. Swift on the Eras Tour in 2023. In March 2023, Swift embarked on the Eras Tour, a retrospective tour covering all her studio albums. Media outlets extensively covered the tour's cultural and economic impact, and its U.S. leg broke the record for the most tickets sold in a day. Ticketmaster received public and political criticisms for mishandling the tour's ticket sales. The Eras Tour became the highest-grossing tour in history. Its concert film, released to theaters worldwide on October 13, 2023, grossed over $250 million to become the highest-grossing concert film and was nominated for the Golden Globe Award for Cinematic and Box Office Achievement. Swift's 11th studio album, The Tortured Poets Department, was released on April 19, 2024. Topping charts globally, the album broke a string of records. It marked the first album ever to amass 1 billion Spotify streams in a week, sold 2.6 million units in its first week in the U.S., made Swift the first artist to monopolize the top 14 of the Billboard Hot 100 and the top 10 of Australia's ARIA Singles Chart, and went on to spend 15 weeks atop the Billboard 200, Swift's longest-running #1 album on the chart. The lead single, Fortnight, featuring Post Malone, became Swift's 12th #1 song on the Hot 100. After the pandemic, Swift's music releases, touring, and related activities culminated in an unprecedented height of popularity. From 2023 onward, Swift found ubiquitous success, albeit more dominant than before, with the successes of the re-recordings, the Eras Tour, its concert film, Midnights, and the Tortured Poets Department, significantly increasing her net worth. Music Business Worldwide remarked this as a new stratosphere of global career success for Swift. In 2023, she began dating the American football player Travis Kelce, and in 2024, won Artist of the Year at the 2024 iHeartRadio Music Awards. The same year, AI-generated fake pornographic images portraying Swift were posted to Twitter and spread to other social media platforms, spurring criticism and demands for legal reform. In July, Swift and Kelce received death threats from a stalker in Gelsenkirchen, Germany, and 3 children were killed in a stabbing attack at a Swift-themed workshop in Southport, England, leading to civil unrest in the UK. In August, all 3 of the Eras Tour concerts in Vienna were cancelled following the arrest of 2 suspects for allegedly planning an Islamic State-inspired terrorist attack in the city. The plan was uncovered by U.S. intelligence and was thwarted by Austrian police forces. Artistry. Musical styles. Swift's early musical influences were 1990s female country musicians such as Shania Twain, Faith Hill, LeAnn Rimes, and the Dixie Chicks, and Keith Urban's country crossover sounds incorporating rock, pop, and blues. She self-identified as a country musician and achieved prominence as a country pop singer with her first 4 studio albums, From Taylor Swift to Red. The albums feature country signifiers such as banjo, 6-string banjo, mandolin, fiddle, and a slight vocal twang, in addition to pop melodies and rock influences. Speak Now draws on rock styles such as pop rock, pop punk, and 1980s arena rock. Critics argued that country was an indicator of Swift's narrative songwriting rather than musical direction and accused her of causing mainstream country music to stray from its roots. After the critical debate around Red's eclectic pop, rock, and electronic styles, Swift chose 1980s synthpop as a defining sound of her recalibrated pop artistry and image, inspired by the music of Phil Collins, Annie Lennox, Peter Gabriel, and Madonna. 1989, the first album in this direction, incorporates electronic arrangements consisting of dense synthesizers and drum machines. Swift expanded on the electronic production on her next albums. Reputation consists of hip-hop, R&B, and EDM influences, and Lover features eclectic elements from country, pop-punk, and folk rock. When Swift embraced a pop identity, raucous critics regarded her move as an erosion of her country music songwriting authenticity, but others regarded it as necessary for Swift's artistic evolution and defended her as a pioneer of poptimism. Her 2020 albums Folklore and Evermore explore alternative and indie styles of rock and folk, and both incorporate a subtle, stripped-back soundscape with orchestration, synthesizers, and drum pads. The latter experiments with varied song structures, asymmetric time signatures, and diverse instruments. Critics deemed the indie styles a mature representation of Swift's artistry as a singer-songwriter. Midnights and the Tortured Poets Department both incorporate a minimalist, subdued synth-pop sound, making use of analog synthesizers, sustained bass notes, and simple drum machine patterns. With continuous musical reinventions, Swift was described by Time and the BBC as a musical chameleon. Jody Rosen commented that by originating her career in Nashville, Swift made a bait-and-switch maneuver, planting roots in loamy country soil, then pivoting to pop. Clash wrote that she has the versatility to no longer be defined by any genre or sound label. According to Empowers, Swift's sound is genre-agnostic, blending and reconfiguring elements of country, R&B, indie pop, and hip-hop. Voice. Our Song, 2006. Duration, 17 seconds. 0 to 17. Swift sings with a southern accent and a light country twang in her early songs such as Our Song. Cardigan, 2020. Duration, 22 seconds. 0 to 22. Swift uses her lower register in the alternative folk ballad Cardigan. Lavender Haze, 2022. Duration, 18 seconds. 0 to 18. The R&B-leaning Lavender Haze features Swift's falsetto vocals in the refrain. Problems playing these files? See Media Help. Swift possesses a mezzo-soprano vocal range and a generally soft and breathy timbre that Rolling Stone deemed versatile. Reviews of Swift's early country albums criticized her vocals as weak and strained compared to those of other female country singers. Despite the criticism, most reviewers appreciated that Swift refrained from correcting her pitch with autotune and how she prioritized intimacy over power and nuance to communicate the messages of her songs with her audience, a style that has been described as conversational. According to Powers, Swift's defining vocal feature was her attention to detail to convey an exact feeling. The line that slides down like a contented sigh or up like a raised eyebrow. On Red and 1989, Swift's vocals are electronically processed to accompany the pop production. Her voice on Reputation and Midnights incorporates hip-hop and R&B influences that result in a near-rap delivery which emphasizes rhythm and cadence over melody. She uses her lower register vocals extensively in Cardigan and both her lower and upper registers in Evermore. The musicologist Alyssa Barca described her timbre in the upper register as breathy and bright and the lower register as full and dark. Reviews in the New York Times, Variety, and The Atlantic were more appreciative of Swift's vocals in her later albums. She ranked 102nd on Rolling Stone's 2023 list of the 200 greatest singers of all time. A decade ago, including her on this list would have been a controversial move, but recent releases like Folklore, Evermore, and Midnights officially settled the argument. Laura Snapes of The Guardian said that Swift's vocal directness enables her to express wide-ranging feelings, highlighting some trademarks such as yo-yoing vocal yelp and climactic process cri decur. Amanda Patricic praised how the clarity and tone of Swift's live vocals accentuate her lyrics. Songwriting. Swift's fascination with songwriting began in her childhood. She credited her mother with igniting confidence in early songwriting interests by helping her prepare for class presentations. She enjoyed Disney film soundtracks and would make up lyrics once she had run out of words singing them. Her lyrical influences include female country songwriters such as Patsy Cline, Loretta Lynn, Tammy Wynette, and Dolly Parton, 1990s songwriters such as Melissa Etheridge, Sarah McLachlan, and Alanis Morissette, Joni Mitchell, and Fall Out Boy. She listed Paul McCartney, Bruce Springsteen, Emmylou Harris, and Chris Christopherson as career role models, citing their both evolving and consistent songwriting outputs. Her literary influences include the authors William Shakespeare, Nathaniel Hawthorne, F. Scott Fitzgerald, and the poets William Wordsworth, Robert Frost, and Emily Dickinson, the last of whom was a distant cousin of Swift. In The New Yorker in 2011, Swift said she identifies as a songwriter first. I write songs, and my voice is just a way to get those lyrics across. Her personal experiences were a common inspiration for her early songs, which helped her navigate life. Her diaristic technique began with identifying an emotion, followed by a corresponding melody. On her first 3 studio albums, Love, Heartbreak, and Insecurities, from an adolescent perspective, were dominant themes. She delved into the tumult of toxic relationships on Red, and embraced nostalgia and post-romance positivity on 1989. Reputation was inspired by the downsides of Swift's fame, and Lover detailed her realization of the full spectrum of love. Other themes in Swift's music include family dynamics, friendship, alienation, self-awareness, and tackling vitriol, especially sexism. She often references or draws inspiration from historical events and figures. Swift's confessional lyrics received positive reviews from critics, who highlighted their vivid details and emotional engagement, which they found uncommon in pop music, although some perceived her as a fragile, juvenile artist, a label she has consistently challenged. Critics also praised her melodic compositions. Rolling Stone described Swift as a songwriting savant with an intuitive gift for verse-chorus bridge architecture. NPR dubbed Swift a master of the vernacular in her lyrics, remarking that her songs offer emotional engagement because the wit and clarity of her arrangements turn them from standard fare to heartfelt disclosures. Despite the positive reception, The New Yorker stated she was generally portrayed more as a skilled technician than as a Dylan-esque visionary. Tabloid media often speculated and linked the subjects of her songs with her ex-lovers, a practice reviewers and Swift herself criticized as sexist. Aside from clues in album liner notes, Swift avoided talking about the subjects of her songs. On her 2020 albums Folklore and Evermore, Swift was inspired by escapism and romanticism to explore fictional narratives. She imposed emotions onto imagined characters and story arcs, which liberated her from tabloid attention and suggested new paths for her artistry. Swift explained that she welcomed the new songwriting direction after she stopped worrying about commercial success, according to Spin. She explored complex emotions with precision and devastation on Evermore, Consequence stated her 2020 albums convinced skeptics of her songwriting prowess, noting her transformation from teenage wunderkind to a confident and careful adult. Swift divides her writing into 3 types: quill lyrics, songs rooted in antiquated poeticism, fountain pen lyrics, based on modern and vivid storylines, and glitter gel pen lyrics, which are lively and frivolous. Fans noticed that the 5th track of every Swift album was the most emotionally vulnerable of the album, awarding her with the Songwriter Icon Award in 2021. The National Music Publishers Association remarked that no one is more influential when it comes to writing music today. The Week deemed her the foremost female songwriter of modern times, and the Nashville Songwriters Association International named her Songwriter Artist of the Decade in 2022. Swift has also published 2 original poems, Why She Disappeared and If You're Anything Like Me. Critics have analyzed the distinctive qualities and thematic depth in Swift's songwriting. Critic Kitty Empire opined in 2024 that Swift is a profoundly old-fashioned artist whose songs tell a story in succinct, emotive ways that often scan meticulously. Unlike most pop music of the time, Empire attributed it to Swift's country beginnings. Swift's bridges are often noted as one of the best aspects of her songs, earning her the title Queen of Bridges from Time. Mojo dubbed her a sharp narrator with a gift for the extended metaphor. Academics have variably described her as a poet, laureate, philosopher, and bard. Performances. Further information, list of Taylor Swift live performances. Swift singing while playing a piano. Swift performing on the Reputation Stadium Tour in Seattle in May 2018. Swift commands large audiences on stage without having to rely on dance. According to V Magazine's Greg Krellenstein, she possesses a rare gift of turning a stadium spectacle into an intimate setting, irrespective of whether she is plucking a guitar or leading an army of dancers. In a 2008 review of Swift's early performances, Sasha Furr-Jones of The New Yorker called Swift a preternaturally skilled entertainer with a vibrant stage presence, adding she returned the crowd's energy with the professionalism she has shown since the age of 14. In 2023, Adrian Horton of The Guardian noted her seemingly endless stamina on the Eras Tour, and critic Ilana Kaplan called her showmanship unparalleled. Swift's concert productions have been characterized by elaborate Broadway theatricality and high technology, and her performances frequently incorporate a live band, with whom she has played and toured since 2007. Swift also often accompanies herself with musical instruments such as electric guitar, acoustic guitar, piano, and sometimes 12-string guitar, 6-string banjo, or ukulele. Interacting frequently with the audience, her solo acoustic performances are considered intimate and emotionally resonant, complementing her story-based lyrics and fan connection. Lydia Bergham of the spin-off opined that this intimacy remains integral to her singer-songwriter origins. Chris Willman of Variety called Swift pop's most approachable superstar and the 21st century's most popular performer. Video and film. Further information, Taylor Swift videography. Swift emphasizes visuals as a key creative component of her music-making process. She has collaborated with different directors to produce her music videos, and over time, she has become more involved with writing and directing. She developed the concept and treatment for Mean in 2011 and co-directed the music video for Mine with Roman White the year before. In an interview, White said that Swift was keenly involved in writing the treatment, casting, and wardrobe. And she stayed for both the 15-hour shooting days, even when she wasn't in the scenes. From 2014 to 2018, Swift collaborated with director Joseph Kahn on 8 music videos for each from her albums 1989 and Reputation. Kahn has praised Swift's involvement. She worked with American Express for the Blank Space music video, which Kahn directed, and served as an executive producer for the interactive app Amex Unstaged, Taylor Swift Experience, for which she won a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Interactive Program in 2015. Swift produced the music video for Bad Blood and won a Grammy Award for Best Music Video in 2016. Her production company, Taylor Swift Productions, is credited with producing all of her visual media, starting with the 2018 concert documentary Reputation Stadium Tour. She continued to co-direct music videos for the Lover singles Me, with Dave Meyers, and You Need to Calm Down, also serving as a co-executive producer, and Lover with Drew Kirsch, but first ventured into sole direction with the video for The Man, which won her the MTV Video Music Award for Best Direction, after Folklore. The Long Pond Studio Sessions. Swift debuted as a filmmaker with All Too Well, the short film, which made her the first artist to win the Grammy Award for Best Music Video. As a sole director, Swift has cited Chloe Zhao, Greta Gerwig, Nora Ephron, Guillermo del Toro, John Cassavetes, and Noah Baumbach as filmmaking influences. Accolades and achievements. Further information, list of awards and nominations received by Taylor Swift. In 2009, Swift became the first country singer to win an MTV Video Music Award. Swift's discography is a critically hailed songbook, as per Time's Sam Lansky. She has won 14 Grammy Awards, including 4 for Album of the Year, the most won by an artist, an Emmy Award, 40 American Music Awards, the most won by an artist, 39 Billboard Music Awards, the most won by an artist, tying with Drake, won 18 Guinness World Records, 30 MTV Video Music Awards, including 5 Video of the Year wins, the most by an act, 12 Country Music Association Awards, including the Pinnacle Award, 8 Academy of Country Music Awards, and 2 Brit Awards. As a songwriter, she has been honored by the Nashville Songwriters Association, the Songwriters Hall of Fame, and the National Music Publishers Association, and was the youngest person on Rolling Stone's list of the 100 greatest songwriters of all time in 2015. At the 64th BMI Awards in 2016, Swift was the first woman to be honored with an award named after its recipient. From available data, Swift has amassed over 50 million album sales and 150 million single sales as of 2019, and 114 million units globally, including 78 billion streams as of 2021. The International Federation of the Phonographic Industry ranked her as the Global Recording Artist of the Year for a record 4 times: 2014, 2019, 2022, and 2023. Swift has the most #1 albums in the UK and Ireland for a female artist this millennium, earned the highest income for an artist on Chinese digital music platforms, CNN 159 million as of 2021, and is the first artist to occupy the entire top 5, note 2, of the Australian albums chart and the top 10 of the country's singles chart. Swift remains the world's highest-grossing female touring act ever, with cumulative ticket sales at $1.96 billion as of November 2023, per Pollstar. The Eras Tour is the highest-grossing tour of all time and the first to surpass $1 billion in revenue. Beginning with Fearless, each of her studio albums have opened. With over 1 million global units, Swift is the most streamed act on Spotify, and the most streamed female artist on Apple Music. On Spotify, she is the only artist to have received more than 250 million and 350 million streams in one day, 260 million on October 27, 2023, and 380 million on April 19, 2024, and was the first female act to reach 100 million monthly listeners, the most entries and the most simultaneous entries, 175 and 34 songs, and most #1s, 5, for a soloist on the Billboard Global 200 are among her feats. Swift is the first and only artist to occupy the top 9 spots on the Global 200. She has the most entries, 154, top 10 songs, 20, and #1s, 3, note 3, among solo acts on the Global 200 US. In the US, Swift has sold over 37.3 million albums as of 2019, when Billboard placed her 8th on its Greatest of All-Time Artists chart. 12 of her songs have topped the Billboard Hot 100. She is the longest reigning and the first act to spend at least 100 weeks atop the Billboard Artist 100, 120 weeks. The soloist with the most cumulative weeks atop and in the top 10 of the Billboard 200, 84 and 425, the woman with the most Billboard 200 #1s, 14, Hot 100 entries, total and single week, 264 and 32, #1 debuts, 7, note 4, top 10 songs, 59, top 5 songs, 36, streaming songs chart toppers, 9, and weeks atop the top country albums chart, 101, and the act with the most #1 songs on Pop Airplay, 13, and digital songs, 29. Swift is the first woman to simultaneously chart 5 albums in the top 10 and 11 albums on the entire Billboard 200, and the first act to occupy the top 4 spots and chart 7 albums, note 5, in the top 10 on the top album sales chart. She is the second highest certified female digital singles artist, and 5th overall, in the U.S., with 137.5 million total units certified by the Recording Industry Association of America, RA, and the first woman to have both an album, Fearless, and a song, Shake It Off, certified diamond. Swift is the only artist in Luminate history to have 7 albums sell over 1 million copies in a week. Swift has appeared in various power listings. Time included her on its annual list of the 100 most influential people in 2010, 2015, and 2019. She was one of the silence breakers that the magazine spotlighted as Person of the Year in 2017 for speaking up about sexual assault, and she received the honor again in 2023 for her cultural domination that year. Time described Swift as the first Person of the Year to be recognized for achievement in the arts, as well as the first woman to be recognized and appear on a Person of the Year cover. More than once, in 2014, she was named to Forbes 30 Under 30 list in the music category, and again in 2017 in its All-Star Alumni category. Swift became the youngest woman to be included on Forbes' list of the 100 most powerful women in 2015, ranked at number 64 in 2023. She was ranked by Forbes as the 5th most powerful woman in the world, the first entertainer to place in the top 5. Swift received an honorary Doctor of Fine Arts degree from New York University and served as its commencement speaker on May 18, 2022. Entrepreneurship. Media outlets describe Swift as a savvy businesswoman. In 2024, she topped Billboard's annual Power 100 ranking of the top music industry executives. Swift is known for her traditional album rollouts, consisting of a variety of promotional activities that Rolling Stone termed as an inescapable multimedia bonanza. Easter eggs and cryptic teasers became a common practice in contemporary pop music because of Swift. Publications describe her discography as a music universe subject to analysis by fans, critics, and journalists. Swift maintains an active presence on social media and a close relationship with fans, to which many journalists attribute her success. Her in-house management team is called 13 Management. Swift has endorsed many brands and businesses, having launched clothing lines with Ellie and Stella McCartney, designed American greetings cards and Jack-specific dolls, released a number of fragrances with Elizabeth Arden, and signed multi-year deals with AT&T and Capital One. She was a spokesperson for the National Hockey League's Nashville Predators and Sony Cybershot digital cameras, and became the global ambassador for New York City in 2014 and Record Store Day in 2022. Social activism. Further information: political impact of Taylor Swift. Swift identifies as a pro-choice feminist and is a founding signatory of the Time's Up movement against sexual harassment. Specifically, she criticized the U.S. Supreme Court's decision to end federal abortion rights in 2022. Swift also advocates for LGBT rights and has called for the passing of the Equality Act, which prohibits discrimination based on sex, sexual orientation, and gender identity. She performed during World Pride NYC 2019 at the Stonewall Inn, a gay rights monument, and has donated to the LGBT organizations Tennessee Equality Project and GLAAD. A supporter of the March for Our Lives movement and gun control reform in the U.S., Swift is a vocal critic of white supremacy, racism, and police brutality. Following the George Floyd protests, she donated to the NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund and the Black Lives Matter movement, called for the removal of Confederate monuments in Tennessee, and advocated for Juneteenth to become a national holiday. She has openly criticized former President Donald Trump. In 2020, Swift urged her fans to check their voter registration ahead of elections, which resulted in 65,000 people registering to vote within one day of her post, and endorsed Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in the 2020 U.S. presidential election. For the 2024 election, she endorsed Harris and Tim Walz.